Well, g'day, and here I am just down the road from my house out the front of a building site here, and as you can see, it's a lovely home built with quality materials, architecturally designed. One day that's going to be a really excellent home. The reason I'm here is because today we're looking at the topic of responsible thinking, and that's a phrase that we've coined to describe the habits of mind or ways of thinking that we want to encourage you to adopt so that you can navigate your way through the minefield of disinformation that is our world today. How do you find your way through that to know how you should live a faithful Christian life in the world today when big issues and challenges confront you? How do you decide what you're going to do, how you're going to respond, what you're going to think about such things? And so I want to kick us off just by reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 10 to 15. This is Paul speaking to the Corinthian church. And the Corinthian church was one of the first, if not the first church that was established outside of the Jewish community. So all the churches up until then had been built amongst Jewish people who had a really good idea of God's law and the actions of God in history, but these people were pagans, what we might call secular today, but they didn't have that background in the law and understanding of God. So when they became Christians, they were building from the ground up, if you like, on what it was to live a life centered on God, a life faithful to Christ. And so here's the instructions that Paul gave to them. We read, "By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation as an expert builder, and someone else is building on it. But each one should be careful how he builds, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If any man builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, his work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each man's work. If what he has built survives, he will receive his reward. If it is burned up, he will suffer loss. He himself will be saved, but only as one escaping through the flames. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple, and that God's Spirit lives in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him, for God's temple is sacred, and you are that temple." So you get the picture here that Paul has introduced them to Christ, he's baptized them into Christ, and that's the foundation now of their lives. That's what their life is centered on. But now they must figure out how they're going to live their lives in the world around them. What ideas are they going to adopt? What practices are they going to live up to? How are they going to be in their world? And Paul is encouraging them. He's saying, you are not just a shoddy old building, thrown up for a night, a tent in the backyard. You are a temple of God. Build that temple as if you are something sacred. And so on this firm and solid and everlasting foundation of Christ, don't just throw up a little shack. Build something significant. Use the best materials, the best resources you can find. And what are those materials and resources? Well, in another letter, Paul talks to the Philippians about focusing on what's good, what's noble, what's right and true. So really pursue these things. And there's two things that I want to ask you to do as you set yourself up to build this temple, your life as a temple to God. The first is to make the choice that you will align your life with the purposes of Christ. Build on the foundation of Christ, rather than pursuing your own inner desires or your personal wants and needs. Christ talks about the fact that the road to destruction is wide and many will find it, and the road to life is narrow and few will find it. He's saying that we all have a choice. Will we pursue get caught up in the crowd and follow the way things are going? Or will we make the hard choices and sometimes deny ourselves? Jesus also talks about losing our life in order to find it. Will we let go of those desires? And this is a really hard thing in our culture, in order to pursue the things of God, even if that sometimes costs us in terms of sacrifice and things. So the first thing is, choose to be a person who aligns his or her life to your life with the things of God, as opposed to just seeking after your inner desires. The second thing is, and this is relating to that, using the quality materials. Pursue that with all your heart and mind, the very best that you've got. Don't take second best. I encourage you, as you practice these habits of mind, that you will build your life as a really beautiful temple of worship and honour to God. God bless you.